You walk into a store to buy a bottle of water. 5 minutes later, you walk out carrying snacks, a new phone charger, and an iced coffee. You spent $42 without ever planning to. Now here's the scary part. That wasn't a lack of self-control. It was psychology. Every year, companies spend billions of dollars studying one simple question. How do we make people spend more money? They don't just sell products. They sell emotions. They sell status. They sell comfort. And most importantly, they know exactly how your brain works. By the end of this video, you'll understand why saving money feels difficult, why spending feels effortless, and why your own brain might be the biggest obstacle standing between you and financial freedom. Let's begin. Most people think they're logical with money. They believe every purchase is carefully thought out. But neuroscience tells a very different story. Thousands of years ago, humans weren't worrying about retirement accounts, investment portfolios, or credit scores. Our ancestors had one priority: survival. Whenever food appeared, you ate. Whenever resources became available, you took them. Because tomorrow wasn't guaranteed. Your brain evolved to value immediate rewards over future rewards. That instinct kept humans alive. Today, that same instinct keeps Amazon busy. It keeps shopping malls full. It keeps your online cart growing. Your brain still believes that getting something now is more valuable than waiting. That's why buying something feels exciting, while saving money often feels boring. The problem isn't intelligence. The problem is that your ancient brain is trying to survive in a modern economy. There's one word you hear all the time: dopamine. Most people call it the pleasure chemical. But scientists have discovered something surprising. Dopamine isn't really about pleasure. It's about anticipation. Think about the last time you ordered something online. Notice what happens. You refresh the tracking page. You wait for the delivery truck. You imagine opening the package. Sometimes, waiting is even more exciting than actually receiving it. That's dopamine. It pushes you toward rewards before you even experience them. Now imagine what companies do with this information. Only 2 left. Limited time offer. Sale ends in 3 hours. 1,500 people bought this today. Every one of these messages is designed to trigger anticipation. And anticipation makes buying feel irresistible. You're not purchasing because you need the product. You're purchasing because your brain wants another hit of excitement. Think back to the last expensive thing you bought. Maybe it was a new phone, a designer jacket, a gaming console, or maybe just something you convinced yourself would change your life. Before buying it, you couldn't stop thinking about it. You watched reviews, compared prices, imagined how good it would feel. Then you finally bought it. For a few days, you felt amazing. A week later, it became normal. Psychologists call this hedonic adaptation. It's one of the biggest reasons people stay trapped in endless spending. Humans adapt to almost everything. A bigger house becomes your normal house. A nicer car becomes just your car. A better phone eventually feels old again. The excitement disappears. Not because the product changed, but because your brain did. This creates what psychologists call the hedonic treadmill. You buy something, feel happier, adapt to it, then chase the next purchase. Again, and again, and again, without realizing you're running on a treadmill that never actually moves you forward. This is why some people earn 6 figures, yet still feel financially stressed. It's not always about income. It's about expectations constantly rising. Have you ever noticed how spending changes depending on your mood? When you're stressed, you order takeout. When you're bored, you browse Amazon. When you're sad, you buy something to cheer yourself up. When you're celebrating, you reward yourself. Money has quietly become one of our favorite emotional coping tools. Companies know this. That's why advertisements rarely focus only on features. They focus on feelings. A perfume isn't just a fragrance. It's confidence. A luxury watch isn't just a watch. It's status. A sports car isn't transportation. It's success. Marketing doesn't sell products. It sells identities. Because people don't buy what something is. They buy how they believe it will make them feel. The dangerous part? That emotional relief is temporary. The stress returns. The boredom returns. The sadness returns. But the credit card bill stays. That's why emotional spending becomes a cycle. You don't solve the emotion. You simply delay it. And each delay costs money. Imagine your neighbor buys a brand new SUV. Suddenly, Your perfectly good car starts feeling old. Did your car actually change? No, your comparison changed. Humans naturally compare themselves with others. Psychologists call this social comparison. Thousands of years ago, comparing ourselves helped us survive within groups. Today, it quietly influences almost every financial decision. Social media has made this much worse. You're no longer comparing yourself with your neighbors. You're comparing yourself with millions of carefully edited lives. Luxury vacations, designer clothes, perfect apartments, expensive restaurants. What you don't see are the loans, the credit card debt, or the financial stress behind those pictures. Comparison creates dissatisfaction. Dissatisfaction creates spending, and spending creates debt. That's exactly why learning to stop comparing yourself is one of the most valuable financial skills you can develop. Imagine you're standing at the checkout. Option 1. You pull out $100 in cash. You physically count the bills. You watch them leave your hand. Immediately, your brain feels the loss. Now imagine option 2. You tap your credit card. Less than 2 seconds later, the purchase is complete. No cash leaves your hand. No immediate pain. Psychologists call this the pain of paying. The easier it is to pay, the less your brain notices the cost. This is exactly why businesses encourage digital payments. Research has consistently shown that people tend to spend more when using credit cards compared to cash. Not because they're wealthier, but because the psychological pain of spending is reduced. Credit cards also create another illusion. They separate the pleasure of buying from the pain of paying. You enjoy the product today, but the bill doesn't arrive until weeks later. By then, the emotional excitement is gone. Only the debt remains. And that's exactly how small purchases slowly become overwhelming balances. It's rarely one giant purchase that hurts your finances. It's dozens of tiny decisions that never felt important at the time. Walk into almost any supermarket. The essentials like milk, eggs, and bread are often placed far from the entrance. Why? Because the longer you walk through the store, the more products you see. The more products you see, the more opportunities your brain has to make impulse purchases. This isn't an accident. It's carefully designed. Ever notice prices ending in 0.99? Your brain sees $9.99 and instinctively focuses on the 9 instead of rounding it to 10. It's only a 1-cent difference. But psychologically, it feels cheaper. Then there are limited time offers. Only 3 left. Deal ends tonight. These create scarcity. Scarcity triggers one of the strongest human emotions, fear of missing out. Even if you never wanted the item, the possibility of losing the opportunity suddenly makes you want it. Businesses also use something called anchoring. Imagine seeing a jacket originally priced at $300. Now it's marked down to $150. Your brain compares it to the original price. It feels like you're saving $150. But the real question is, would you have bought it if you'd only ever seen the $150 price? Anchoring changes your perception of value, not the actual value. Companies don't manipulate your wallet. They influence your perception, and your brain does the rest. So, if our brains naturally encourage spending, how do financially successful people avoid the trap? The answer isn't that they never buy nice things. It's that they delay gratification. Instead of asking, "Can I afford this?" they ask, "Will this improve my life enough to justify the cost?" Instead of chasing every new trend, they focus on long-term freedom. Instead of buying to impress others, they invest in assets that grow over time. They understand one simple truth. Every dollar spent today is a dollar that can't work for you tomorrow. Imagine investing $100 instead of spending it. Over years, that money has the potential to grow. Now imagine making that decision hundreds of times. That's how wealth is often built. Not through one brilliant investment, but through thousands of small psychological victories. The richest people don't always have more discipline. They've simply built systems that make good decisions easier. They automate savings, avoid emotional spending, wait before making major purchases. And they know something most people don't. Financial freedom starts in the mind long before it appears in the bank account. The biggest obstacle to building wealth isn't always your income. It isn't inflation. It isn't bad luck. Sometimes, it's the invisible battle happening inside your own brain. Every advertisement, every sale, every notification, every limited time offer is competing for one thing, your attention, because attention eventually becomes spending. But now, you know the game. You know why buying feels exciting, why saving feels difficult, why emotions influence your wallet, and why companies spend billions learning how to shape your decisions. The goal isn't to stop spending forever. The goal is to make spending a conscious choice instead of an automatic reaction. The next time you're about to buy something, pause for just a moment and ask yourself, do I truly need this? Or is someone simply convincing my brain that I do? That single question could save you thousands of dollars over your lifetime. And more importantly, it could give you something money can't buy: control. If you enjoyed this video and want to understand the psychology behind money, wealth, and financial success, subscribe to Finance Juice. Because the more you understand how money works and how your mind works, the better decisions you'll make for the rest of your life. Thanks for watching.